Good afternoon. Welcome to the Inside Scoop Conversations with Dr. Brewer. I'm Dr. Satanya Boykin, and I'm the Dean of Student Development. This is an interactive session, and we encourage you to ask questions via the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Our speakers will be answering some questions live, and other questions will be answered in the Q&A window by our behind-the-scenes panelists. Now, I'll turn it over to our speaker, Dr. Brewer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Dr. Brewer. That's me. I'm the Vice President of Enrollment Management and Student Affairs at Rockland Community College. It is a pleasure to have you here today with us. I'm joined by a group of panelists that include staff and some students, and including our Board of Trustees student representative. I'm going to ask them to start turning on their video so we can see them, and we'll call on them to have some questions one-on-one. So these conversations are an opportunity for us to get together and answer some questions, give you some tips on what might be helpful for the fall. And so as we are here, I'm just gonna, let's start if we can, again, have our panelists turn on their video, please. There we go. We have some students that I'd like to introduce. So why don't we actually start with introducing the students and how long you've been at RCC and your major, and then we can move on to asking some of our staff as well some questions. So Robert, why don't we start with you?
Awesome. Hello, everybody. I'm Robert Dale. I've been at RCC for a year, going into my sophomore year next year, or this upcoming year. And I've majored in Parks and Recreation and Leadership. I mean, it's great, so.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, Robert. Thank you. And our Board of Trustees student representative, Emmanuel Bastos. Emmanuel, why don't you introduce yourself to our guest today?
Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Bastos. Thank you, everyone, to be here, for being here with us. And I go to RCC. I'm a student at Automotive Technology and Math and Science. I do double major at RCC. I've been at a school for 2 years now, ready to graduate, but I know the school has a lot to offer to us, and my experience here, all my path has been great. So I want to encourage everyone that's here for the best.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So we also have with us today Ed Bajor, who is our interim athletic director. And Ed, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on in athletics this fall?
Sure. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to RCC. This semester, we are going to be not participating in athletics, as well as all the other junior colleges across the country. All sports were moved to the spring due to COVID-19 concerns. So out of abundance of caution, we'll just be remotely training our athletes and looking forward to hopefully starting up in the spring.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. And we also have Mr. Willie Everett, who is the director of the Student Support Services TRIO program. Willie, why don't you give us an update on what's going on in TRIO and how, anything else you want to give us in terms of updates about the program?
So first of all, I just want to say welcome everybody to RCC. TRIO is an opportunity program, and obviously with COVID, everything is changing. So we're going to be mostly working remotely, and so we're ramping up all of our Zoom communications and the many other platforms. We're going to be having a bunch of workshops that are virtual. We're going to have people who are going to do some videos for us that we just put on so that our students can log on to those videos and those video workshops and have them in their archives so that they can reference later on. We'll be working with career services, and we'll be working with campus engagement or the Tammy's department slips my mind right now. Student involvement, thank you. We're working with student involvement to get more engaged with cultural exposure and things like that with TRIO. And if any of the students are interested, they can always stop by the office. Oh, not they can't stop by the office. they can always send us an email, and we can send them the application forms for TRIO, and so that we can get started this semester. We're very excited. It is a brand new area, a brand new way of doing things, but that is always exciting for our department as well.
So really, what are the benefits of joining the TRIO program? Why would someone be interested, and how do they qualify?
So there are many benefits, but I'll start with the qualifications. So to be qualified for TRIO, typically our typical student is a first generation college student, which means neither of their parents have obtained a bachelor's degree in America. So they also have to have an academic need, which is pretty much everybody. Everybody has an academic need unless they're a genius, and if they are, come to my office so we can start a business together where they do all the work. And then the third qualification is a financial need. And so one of the indicators of financial need is if you're eligible to receive the federal Pell Grant. Now you don't have to actually receive it, but the household income wise has to fall within those parameters of the federal Pell Grant. And that way we know that you meet all three criteria. There is a fourth criteria that is kind of the golden buzzer. If you are registered with our Accessibility Services Department, and you have a registered disability, then you're automatically eligible to receive TRIO services. And so I encourage everybody that is interested to check their eligibility and then apply, but we're also going to check your eligibility as well. So that's how you're eligible. But some of the benefits, and I'm sorry if I'm taking time, I get passionate when I'm talking about it.
For people to know, why would they want to join TRIO? Like, I think not everyone knows what all the services you provide. So tell us about why they would want to join. It's a benefit.
Okay, so I'm just going to go into my 5-minute SOAR speech that I usually do. So we do a little bit of everything, right? So everything that the school offers for every other student, we do it, but in a more close-knit, a family type atmosphere. So we have tutoring, advising, counseling. We help with editing papers, editing resumes. We do mock interviews. We advocate for you with your professors if you need be, with records. We do cultural exposure. So we've gone on many trips like to the museums, and we've gone to Broadway plays, and we have workshops that help you with time management skills, study skills, financial literacy. We address all of those things within TRIO. And we typically only service 150 students. And how that is a benefit to you is that you always have access to either myself, Shaquana, or whoever our new specialist will be. And it's way more intimate, and we get to know you and help you and guide you. And we really try to keep it fun in TRIO. We have a lounge, we're moving, but our new space is even bigger. It's going to be better. And we're going to be able to, we'll have computers in there so that when you need to study or you need to write your papers or things like that. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on about TRIO, and then I would turn this into.
It sounds like you have a very, like a home environment, family kind of dynamic. So if students need that support, or if they need resources to help them while they're in school, TRIO is definitely a place to go to. So thank you so much for that update. Okay, so it looks like we have, let's see, Zoha Suhair is also our newly elected Student Government Association president. She's also, I think, joining the call.
Also a TRIO student.
And also a TRIO student. So she could maybe speak to that experience from her perspective. So Zoha, if you have your camera available, we'd love to be able to see you. But we before we came on, we were introducing all the students and just wanting to hear who they are, what their major is. And then I think the next thing we're going to do too is just talk about this past spring. We had a big transition where we went from in-person classes to remote. And I know that a lot of students have questions about that and are uncertain about what that will look like in the fall. So tell us a little bit about your experience with that transition and what you would do differently or what you anticipate doing in a different way for this fall. So Zoha, if you want to take that one, or we can pass it to Robert or Emmanuel.
I'll start off. First of all, thank you. But my experience as a student has been great so far. I wouldn't honestly, there's definitely a few things that, sorry, it's just, oh, my connection got messed up, but I wouldn't really change much because like, I feel like everything was a process and like, I learned from the mistakes I've made. But I remember when I came in as a new student, my schedule, like I wasn't necessarily following my degree sheet, and I didn't realize that till my spring semester. So I did end up taking classes that I didn't necessarily need, but I feel like in the end it kind of all worked out. But I feel like for the new students, I feel like they should definitely like make sure to look at their degree sheet, even if they're a liberal arts major. Like there's certain classes that don't necessarily always fit in. So I feel like they should definitely double check in with the advisors, and just to make sure that everything's in place for how they need it to be placed in order to graduate on time.
Zoha, what's a degree sheet? For those who are new to the college, we all have different terms at different colleges. What's a degree sheet and where did you get one?
I got my degree, basically a degree sheet is basically a list of all the classes that you need to take and in order to fulfill your degree. So let's say if you were a liberal arts major or business major, the degree sheet shows you all the classes you need to take in order to graduate with the associates in that course, in that degree. Like let's say if it was liberal arts, like you will be able to graduate accordingly through the degree sheet. You have to take all the classes that are on there basically.
Okay, so it's like a map. It sounds like it's a map to all the courses that you need to take to be able to graduate in your program of study.
Yes. And you can, I believe they do have the degree sheet on Blackboard, and I believe the new self banner. You can find it on there, and you can just check in with your advisors. We have a lot of those, so they'll definitely like let you know which one is right for you.
So maybe what we'll try and do is perhaps put in the chat the link to the advising page so that you can find those degree sheets. Dr. Boykin, if you could help me with that, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so Emmanuel, how was your experience this spring? What would you do differently? What recommendations do you have for many of our new students who are on this chat?
So you're talking just about spring?
Spring or in general, whatever advice you have.
So yeah, and at a spring, I have taken things a little bit different. So the online is a struggle. It was a struggle for me, but what I did, I made sure to email all my professors and get close to them. So when I did that and I spoke to them, that gave me a different experience, and then that gave me a better perspective. If I talk about the overall, I would say on the day one, I would start to ask questions to everyone I know. I started as an automotive technology student, so later on, I find out that I want to go and keep going to engineering, and I could start the double major since the first day, and I started that in my third semester. So the best thing, RCC is way more than just a community college. You have a lot of resources at school, and everyone you talk, your professors, your advisors, the honors program, even the administration that is always there to listen to you. You have many things that you can take advantage and many choices you can make. As much information that you can get, more choices you're gonna have. So in my case, my specific case, at the day one, I would be talking way more with people at school. They're so helpful and they always there to give you some information. They don't retain anything for them. Actually, everyone on this college, I can feel they want your success. So they will help you as much as they can.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it sounds like those connections and really forming relationships with the faculty and staff is really important to be successful.
Yeah, and they want that from students, for sure. They want to talk to you. They want to see, you want to reach out, great points. They want to see your best stand. So if you want to go and keep going further, talk to them. You know, don't leave that for the last day, or don't save your questions for yourself. Don't just Google it. You have a lot of people that know a lot of things and they have a lot of experience, especially your peers. They have their vision, and each and every one of them, they have a place they want to get, so they can give you a little bit of insight on that.
Wonderful, wonderful, thank you. Robert, what about you? Tell us how your experience was. What would you do differently? What suggestions do you have for new students that are going to be here this fall?
So I would say, just based on when we started the online learning, you just have to be really looking at your RCC account, looking at your emails all the time. I made that mistake a few times. I missed a couple emails, but I mean, everybody's there to help you though. It was definitely, we were all learning together. So everybody was in the same boat, but everybody wanted to help each other. It's not like you're on your own island, have fun. Everybody, you know, I always said to myself, I should make more friends in my class. And I made that mistake. As soon as I started to try to make friends, that's when we went online. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure stuff out. I don't have anybody to text, you know. So I would start making friends, even if it's emailing them. Hey, you're in my class. What are you majoring in? You know, just a simple email like that can change everything. And yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. A couple of things I would change though is that, you know, looking at your emails a lot more, because off of high school, it's a whole different animal in college, where it's more to yourself. No one's really guiding you, which is good. You got to learn that. But yeah, it was a huge step for me and I'm glad I took it.
Great, thank you. And there are a lot of resources to help. And one of the things I'll ask too is Dr. Boykin, if you could tell us a little bit about the laptop loaner program, because I know there's a lot of students out there who maybe don't have access to technology right now, or perhaps even they may need a Wi-Fi hotspot. Could you share a little bit about the laptop loaner program? You just have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
The laptop loaner program was created to assist students who did not have access to technology. So I cannot speak in regards to the Wi-Fi component of that, but students can go on the main page and there is a link that you can sign up and reserve a laptop. Once the laptop has been reserved and we confirm that you are registered for the semester, then once you fill out a borrower's agreement and I receive that information back, then we will mail out a laptop to you. Now, this is about to change because the library will be taking over the part of this whole piece of it. So that will be changing in about a few weeks and there will be some announcements to that. But currently, they can sign up on the front page under student resources.
And in terms of the Wi-Fi hotspots, I know that the Connection Center has been able to acquire some hotspots for students as well. So we also have the Life Happens at sunyrockland.edu email address. And we'll put some of these links in the chat so that you're able to reference them. But the Connection Center also has access to the Wi-Fi hotspots for some students. They also have access to, if people need grocery cards or gas cards, or if they run into any problems like that, the Connection Center is also another great resource. But as Dr. Boykin said, we have laptops that we can loan out to students who may need them during the semester. So let's see, who else can we go to here? So I know that Robert talked about making connections and making friends and how we're going to be able to do that in the fall semester, especially when we're in a remote setting. So Zohar, tell me a little bit about some of the plans that the SGA has in mind for the fall semester in terms of helping students maybe meet other students or get involved.
Well, we're still working on actually getting more people to join SGA, and I feel like that's a great first step, and we have a lot of positions available right now. Our elections will be starting within the first and the second week of the fall semester, and I feel like joining clubs and like just even meeting people virtually and like attending meetings for clubs that even if you aren't in them, you can like join them just to see like what it's like, and maybe you do end up liking it and you'll end up joining the club, you know. And SJ is working on, well, the elections for one, and we plan on having like virtual activities that we can like, you know, collab with maybe Trio, maybe the other departments and faculty that RCC has. And we're going to do virtual activities where people can actually come together and still meet new people. And I feel like connections is definitely like a big one, where you don't realize that sometimes when you meet people, they have more to them than just their personality. Like I've met people that ended up being part of departments that I wanted to be a part of, and they decided to help me out, and they showed me like how to join and how to like be more active on campus, and that's definitely helped me in a major way. And I feel like in the end, it's just to put yourself out there and make sure that you're able to like communicate with other people, and yeah, just become more, I would say, I don't really know that word, it's not coming to my head, but basically be more interactive with everyone, even if it's through a virtual setting. And I know RCC always emails out any activities, virtual activities. I would definitely say attend them because they're really helpful. And yeah.
Great. So one of the things that I think Robert brought up and Zohar brought up that are really important is that at RCC, our official mode of communication for students is to contact you through your RCC email address. So you should have gotten that when you first registered or you first applied to the college. If you haven't received it, you can always contact admissions@sunyrockland.edu, and we will make sure that you have that information. But we will communicate with you through your email. Your instructors may also communicate with you through Blackboard Collaborate, which is a tool that some of the instructors will be using to deliver their instruction in the fall. So you'll just have to figure out with your faculty member what's going to be their mode of delivery so that you can then always be in contact with them. But more likely than not, it'll typically always be through your RCC email address. One of the things too that also is really important that I want to make sure I put a plug in for is that this week and all through the first week of classes, the Enrollment Management Student Affairs Division, along with Academic Affairs, is holding something called Rapid Registration. So between the hours of 11 and 5 p.m., Monday through Thursday, students can come to the campus, and it's preferable that you make an appointment so you don't have to wait as long. But if you do have a walk-in, we will gladly accept you. Is that you can come in and register in person. You can meet with an advisor. You can talk to someone from financial aid, admissions, records, any one of our service departments, even accessibility services, and I'm sure Trio, I've seen Trio there as well, will be present to be able to provide you with services, because we know that sometimes the video conversation or even a phone call or an email can be a little bit not as personal, right? So we want to make sure that we offer that students that opportunity. So if you would like to, I see it's already in the chat, more information about rapid registration and how to make an appointment is right there. We will take walk-ins, as I said before, but if you want to avoid a long wait, you really should try and register ahead of time. The other thing I'll tell you too, I just want to make sure everybody knows about, is that the college has something called the We Care Fund. And We Care is a fund that basically provides assistance to students who may have been affected by COVID. And since pretty much everyone has been affected by COVID, as long as you apply for federal financial aid and you are an eligible recipient, then you are eligible then to receive monies that go directly toward you. It doesn't go to your bill at the college. The check is issued directly to you to help you offset some of those costs. So I really encourage everyone to apply for We Care. And you don't have to provide any receipts of anything. Some people say, well, you know, maybe I bought a computer for school, but I didn't keep the receipt, or I had to buy some other materials, or I had to pay for food. I didn't keep all those receipts. That's not necessary. It's a very simple form that you have to fill out on our website, and we'll put that information in the chat and how to get there. But you fill out that form and you really can get a considerable amount of money sent directly to you to help you offset the cost, and so that you're able to attend school in the fall. So those are just two quick plugs. We have a few minutes left. I also wanted to see if Emmanuel, do you want to share anything about what's going on from your perspective as a student trustee? Any initiatives that you'll be working on this year, or what's going to be your role on the board, so people can kind of have an understanding of what you do?
So our main goals are the students. We are looking for, in the future, work with students exactly to amplify their side after they graduate from RCC. So we had the former student trustee, Thomas Leonard. He's initiating another initiative for students. We didn't launch yet, but we are working together to bring this to the students. The main goal is to bring people that already graduate from RCC right now at the beginning to give students information about their experience and tell them a little bit more what are the challenges, what are the options if you want to transfer, if you're just going to apply for your job, you know, having somebody that passed through all those challenges before, and give you the information, it's way better because they can give you a little bit more of insight. They can give you a little bit more of options so you can choose in between one thing or the other. So this is one of the projects, and we are working hard. We know this pandemic got everybody. So everybody, everyone, we're not talking just about RCC, but everyone it's passing through the situation is trying to find a way to go to their best options. So I have my perspective, administration, they have their perspective. And what we want right now is give you the best experience ever. We cannot just stay there without doing anything. We have to do everything. And the success comes from you. We're just here to provide you with the resources and the tools to keep going and move forward. So whatever you need, I'm here for you. I'm here to represent you guys. And I'm pretty sure, and I can see administration working really, really hard every single day. It looks like they don't sleep. It looks like they don't stop. And they're doing everything in their power to make the best for you. But I know everybody has one opinion. I know everybody can see a little bit more. So if you have any questions, suggestions, start it right now. Start talking to people. Start making questions. Start, giving some suggestions. Something that you saw happening really great in some other place and you want to bring in and you want to talk about it. So we are here for you. And as I had the best experience since I got here, I want to give you even better one. So if you need me, I'm here. Dr. Brewer, I'm pretty sure I can talk for everybody that's here. They want your best.
Thank you, Emmanuel. So I'm going to turn over to Robert to see if he has any last words from the student perspective, and then we'll close out with Ed if you want to let us know how students can still get involved even though they're going to be in a virtual world, more in athletics. So Robert, any last comments or suggestions or tips for our students?
Just make it the best experience that you can make it. Like I said, it's not high school, it's college. You have more freedom. I mean, you guys are home. What can be better? So, I mean, just have fun with it. Don't be too stressed. Don't put too much effort to do something you don't think you can. Definitely push your limits, but don't stress yourself out and just have fun, and welcome to RCC.
Thank you, Robert. So Ed, the final word before we wrap up today.
Sure, and I also like to point out that Robert is our captain and goalie of our soccer team. So he didn't mention that. I wanted to shout him out. He's a fantastic player and student. I will say that athletics will be visible during Welcome Week. We're going to have interest meetings. If you're interested in form or prospective athlete inquiry, and I myself or a coach can reach out to you. Other than that, we offer, if those sports that we do offer, men's soccer, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's bowling, golf, and baseball, and cross country will be adding again back in fall of 2021. Thank you for your time.
Great. So if you wouldn't mind putting a link to where you want students to contact you if they're interested in what you just mentioned, that would be great. I'm going to look at the question and answer. I think people might be a little bit shy today, not asking too many questions, but I do want to thank all of you for joining us today, and for the students and our staff and administrators who are on this call. Thank you so much. I'll ask them to stay on, but insofar as our attendees, we want to thank you for being here today. It was a pleasure pleasure sharing some information with you. And we hope that you have a wonderful and successful fall semester. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about today, or something that isn't clear for you, you can reach out to studentaffairs@sunyrockland.edu, and that email address is monitored very closely, and we'll be happy to connect you with the appropriate resources. But for now, have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Friday afternoon, attendees, and I'll ask the panelists to stay on for just a moment. Thank you so much, and this concludes our conversations with Dr. Brewer. Thank you for being here today.